Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty good morning to you as we knock it up here on a hump day. What's up? JP Peterson along with Peter Blake. Lots to get to on this Wednesday as the Bucks are playing for the NFC South Championship again. Should have this one in our pocket, but we do not. But that's okay. We're going to get to that. Will Baker play this week? How effective will Baker be? Should Kyle Trask be getting the nod? We don't know. We'll talk to J.C. Allen today from Sports Illustrated, covers the Bucks. T.J. Pittenger will join us, longtime expert on your Florida State Seminoles and what the hell's going on at FSU. I've got a lot to add to that little mix in terms of the lawsuit and things are happening there. What's going on with the Noles? We're going to fix college football and all kinds of fun stuff. Peter Blake joining me this morning. What's up, brother? How are you?
What's going on, buddy? Happy hump day, and a little bit disappointing there on Sunday with the Bucks not getting it done. The Lightning last night, FSU taking on the chin. Yeah. And I got some ReliaQuest stuff for you from Coach Brian Kelly of the winning LSU Tigers. You're going to like that, too.
You know, how was that bowl game? I missed it this year, missed all the festivities for the ReliaQuest this year, just too much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
I saw the crowd was a little bit down, because Jaden Daniels didn't play. I mean, this is obviously, endemic to what's going on with the bowls. When the dadgum Heisman Trophy winner doesn't play in a New Year's Day bowl game, something is really wrong. Something is really wrong. But what was the vibe?
It was good. I mean, at first it was kind of a slow starter for LSU. Wisconsin surprisingly took the lead, and because you didn't really know what to expect because they also had a lot of opt-outs. And then you talk about Jaden Daniels, you wouldn't expect anything from Garrett Nussmeier, who of course is the son of Doug, who played in the league a little bit there, had a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he looked good for what I saw. He looked really good.
He looked great. 398 with 3 touchdowns,
yeah.
And 15 practices to get ready, and then lo and behold, a backup quarterback,
shocking development,
can perform if you give them the practice time. So I think it showed that in LSU in that second half, 21-10. So it was an exciting game, probably one of the best ReliaQuest bowls out there. I mean, it's always a close game, no matter what.
Seems
the
like it, yeah.
It's always a very close game. So very entertaining as usual. The food spread was pretty good. Little barbecue chicken.
Not like the old Outback Bowl, I'm guessing. No, definitely not like the old Outback Bowl. They rolled out my favorite was when they walked around the press box with the coconut shrimp. Coconut
blooming onion and the steak, but
you can have the blooming onion, but the coconut shrimp.
That was good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure the ReliaQuest Bowl did it up nice, though.
Yeah. Barbecue brisket, barbecue chicken, little white cheese, macaroni and cheese.
Oh, okay. All right.
My salad or whatever.
White cheddar.
Yeah.
You ate a salad?
I always eat a salad. Everybody thinks I'm joking about that, but I always started out with the salad because I do eat.
I don't get there early enough, I guess, to see your first course. So.
Yeah, well, I have like 3 or 4 courses. It's a running joke there. I mean, they're going to give out free plates.
Shout out to our man Ken, who runs the catering in the press box.
Yes,
Sal Powell was like, Ken runs the best press box in the NFL. Now, when Sal Powell says that, that's something right there. That is something right there. So. Congrats! Shout out to Ken. That'll get us an extra cookie or 2 next time we're in the
Ken Santiago, who continues to say it's propaganda, but it's definitely not propaganda because they definitely know how to run that press box and start out with breakfast, start out with the salad, and then go to the main course. So I would say about 4 or 5 plates I did pretty good on.
Nice. And let me just say this, about Ken Santiago and anybody who does a great job at what they do. It is so rare these days that you walk into a restaurant, a car shop, like anywhere you go, in any business whatsoever, that you find quality service, quality food, quality anything. Nobody gives a shiz about anything. There's no pride in work anymore. Nobody cares about anything. They just slop it on and get out of my way and give me a 30% tip. So when I run into anybody in this world that is competent in their job and really enjoys doing it and doing it the right way and takes pride in their work, I go out of my way to say, and I don't care what you're doing. If you're running a business, if you're running it, you're a manager in a press box like Ken, you say, thank you. You do a hell of a job. And I want you to know that. If you're one of, and I don't want to, tier people in terms of service and who's more important than what, but everybody has a job to do. And everybody in that place does an amazing job. They take pride in their work, and it matters to them. And that starts at the top. And that starts with Brian Ford with the Buccaneers. Since he has joined the Buccaneers, they have done an amazing job in the community, amazing job with the fans. This organization, I think, and I've covered them obviously for almost 30 years now. There were times when they were not good to their fans, not good to their fans at all. And Brian Ford has done a tremendous job of turning a lot of that stuff around. So that organization is exemplary in almost everything they do. And I appreciate them. So, when you're out and about and you get good service, no matter what it is, thank those people and thank them for working hard and thank them for taking pride in what they do. And the people that don't say anything.
Don't say anything. Just go, and just do this.
Shut up!
Yeah. Like my urgent care doctor the other day.
What happened with that?
I had to tally scratch my eye, right? So I went into urgent care, and it's MD urgent care over here in Windermere. Okay. And nice people up front, very nice people up front. The doctor was great. He did a nice job. He came in, gave me, did the old black light and showed me the little mark in my eye. It was great. Put some numbing drops in my eye. That really helped. I mean, my eye was hurting. There was a lot of pain and discomfort. So I put the numbing drops in, and then he irrigated the eye, which kind of took a little bit of the numbing stuff off. So they sent me to, of course, get the antibiotic cream for my eye it's on New Year's Day, to a pharmacy that was closed. Like, thank you for that. Thank you for sending, just for checking and see if it was open. So I go to the pharmacy, it's closed. All right. So I come back and I'm like, hey, the pharmacy was closed. Can you send it to somebody else? And they're like, oh yeah, go to Walmart. They take your insurance. They didn't take my insurance. Thanks for checking on that as well. Just like sloppy, like you just don't, nobody cares. Like do your job. Can you not send us to a pharmacy that's closed? Can you check to see if that one's open today? Because maybe I should have done that, but I just assumed since they're sending prescriptions out on New Year's Day that they've checked to see that you need immediately, that they've checked to see if the pharmacy is open before they did it. And, check to see if they take my insurance, the other one they sent it to. Of course, they didn't. So while I'm there, I said, hey, can you put a little bit more, can the doc put in a little bit more numbing drops in my eye? And she's like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm like, well, I'm here. He's there right behind the door. Shouldn't be a problem. She's like, let me go check. So she comes back with a couple of bandages for my eye. Like, I need a bandage. No, I need numbing cream or numbing drops. Right. And she's like, yeah, he said he couldn't do that. That's a whole new procedure. I'm like, a whole new procedure? I tip my head back. You squirt the stuff in my eye. You've already diagnosed it. You know what's going on. Like, help a brother out. Like, help a human being. You have the ability. You have the stuff back there to make me feel less pain. Can you do it? No, can't do it. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy. You're out.
Don't have enough money.
It's like you want another copay? Whatever. Okay. And they're like, yeah, we can't. I'm like, you can't. He's right there. I'm right here. He has the number. Like what? Like people can't help people anymore. He's a doctor. To put me out of pain. No, we can't do this. We can't make this work. I'm here. You're there. Right. I walk through the door. I tilt my head back. You go, see you later. That's how that works, right? No, can't do it. Like, this is the world we live in, man. This is the world we live in. Red tape everywhere. Nobody can help anybody else. It's disgusting. It's just people help other people. When you have an opportunity to help people, help them. If you can. I understand money's tight, all that's different stuff. But if you have an opportunity, if that's all you have to do, help people out. That's all you got to do. It's not hard. Just have a little love in your heart and help them out. Little message, public service message from the JP Show today. All right, let's get into it. You did the post game show. I had to skedaddle with the kiddos because we had lightning duties.
Stan, yeah.
How was? I'm guessing the fan base was not very pleased with what they saw on Sunday.
No, I mean, it was back to fire Bulls. Baker is a garbage quarterback. He doesn't deserve an extension. Ha ha. The joke is on you for even suggesting that Baker should be in the MVP conversation after we had somebody from ESPN actually interview him one-on-one and say he should be in the conversation. And I get it. This is Baker. This is, what he kind of is, which is, it's a head scratcher for you. He's so inconsistent, but do I think it was all on Baker? No, the offensive line got dominated. So the fan base, up in arms again. And I'm going to put out a poll today and see where social media is at and how confident they are in this Bucs team taking care of business versus a Carolina Panther team, because, the talk is from Bucs Nation that, if Bulls doesn't get this done, that he should be fired. And I got to ask you, I'll start out with,
oh my God, that's a given. I mean,
right.
Listen, this is don't even put out a poll on that. That's like, duh. If they lose this game to Carolina, Todd Bowles is done. If they win this game against Carolina and they lose in the playoffs, Todd Bowles is done. I talked about this yesterday. And again, we love, and with Scott Reynolds as well, we love Todd as a human, incredible character, integrity, just best dude ever. We love him. We rooted for him. We're rooting for him to get it done. But I mean, this guy has been, and we've got 5 seasons now, 5 or 6 seasons now as a head coach. He has a losing record. He has a losing record as the Buccaneers coach. And you could sit there and say, well, they have the most dead cap space of anybody, blah, 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 blah. They play in the worst division in football, and it's not even close. It's not even close. And so all those other things you can say, last year he couldn't handpick his staff. He couldn't, make all these excuses for him. And I'll just keep coming back with, you have the worst division in football. And yeah, you won it last year by a half a game. If you win it this year, you'll win it by a half a game. And it's the totality of what you're seeing, when you play. And yes, this is why Sunday's game was such I was, even during the 4-game win streak, I was not one of these people going, oh, let's give Todd Bowles a long-term contract. No, I was not.
Right.
What were they doing? Barely beating Atlanta, barely beating Carolina. Good win over Jacksonville. No question about it. I mean, it's good stuff. You win 4 games in a row in the NFL, you're doing something good. But you have to look at it in totality and say to yourself, does Todd Bowles give you the feeling that he can, under his stewardship, this team can grow and become a dangerous and a Super Bowl team? Hell no.
I mean, if he can't get this team ready, and if people go, well, when he wins, you don't give him credit. No, we've given him credit on this show. We've given him credit on the Sports Web. But when he loses, and my problem is, JP, you know how big this game is. And you have players, and talking to TJ Reeves at the end of the game on the post game, the Buccaneer Radio Network, he was interviewing players, and Tristan Wirfs and Levante David, and they were saying we weren't ready to play. Well, yeah, that's on the players, but that's also on the coaching. The coaching has to have this team ready. Exactly. Why don't you have this team ready? I'll tell you what. Let's go out to our guest coming in here from Sports Illustrated. Let's go out to Mr. J.C. Allen here live on the J.P. Peterson Show.
What's up, JC? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Happy New Year. How we doing?
We're good. We're better than the Buccaneers were on Sunday for sure. And they've got everything in front of them. That's true. But we, in order to move forward, we have to do the postmortem of looking backward and make the adjustments, obviously, as the coaches do. So when you looked at the replay of the tape, I watched the all 22. I can see exactly what happened in this game. They got dominated at the line of scrimmage. They got out physicaled again by the Saints, who seem to do that just about every time. They were out coached. Baker Mayfield was holding the ball and making bad decisions. And they turned it over 4 times. Were careless with the football. Do that, you're going to get beat every time. What did you see?
I mean, you pretty much summed it up. Lack of execution you can throw in there as well.
Yeah.
But that's what you look at the tape. I mean, the physicality part of it, The Saints went in pads on Wednesday, and you could tell they were a more physical team all day. The Bucks just kind of had no answer. It's like it's one of those heavyweight fights where one of the guys comes out swinging hard first, early, ready to go, and the other one's kind of still there, sitting back, waiting things out. And
that's a great analogy.
Rally, but by that time, it's a little too late for that guy to make that rally, and ends up going down. And that's what happened this week. So.
How can you explain this Todd Bowles team? I mean, you got a 4-game winning streak. It seems like the team is more aggressive. Play calling is better. And then you have players on this team at the end of it saying they're not ready for the game. And people are criticizing me saying, this is not on Todd Bowles. This has to be on Todd Bowles, right? Not getting this team ready to go.
I think it's easy to point the finger at the head coach because he's supposed to have his guys ready to go and, get his guys in that mentality. But I mean, it all comes down to the players too. And, they weren't ready to go. I mean, it's quite simple. On defense, they weren't ready to go. On offense, they weren't ready to go. And that's as much as a player's mentality as it is on the coach. Now, adjustments certainly need to be made by the coach. And you look at what Bowles did, with the soft coverages again, try not to let guys like Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed beat them deep. He left so much stuff open underneath for those tight ends to eat, and they did exactly that. So as far as adjustments and things like that, with Dave continuously setting up for 3rd and longs, you like to see them start out passing more than running, but also one of my keys to the game was to, establish the ground game to chew up some time of possession. Didn't work the way they wanted to, but that's also execution on the players too. You're calling the plays, and the players got to execute it. So the blame falls on everybody. It's not just coaches or players this week. I think it's everybody has a hand in the pot in this loss, from not coming out ready to go, not making in-game adjustments. And you just gotta. I mean, Todd says it every week, and it sounds cliche, but hey, they've got to coach it better. Players got to play it better. And I think that was, if any week was summed up by that statement, it was this.
Will be the epitaph on his headstone. No question, no question about it. All right. So as we turn our attention to this week, obviously the biggest question is, will Baker Mayfield play? He took a shot at the end of the game, and he was really rattled. Another cheap shot by the Saints, which of course the Bucks failed to retaliate, which I'd like to see them actually do at one point. I hate, I'm not want to talk about cheap shots, but when a team keeps doing it, we can go back to the Godwin destruction of his knee, one of the cheapest shots I've ever seen. It just keeps happening, and the Bucks just keep taking it and don't dish it out. They need to start dishing it out. That's what's, I hate to keep going back to Sunday, but that's what's so, it's like, and this is where the players have to take, as you mentioned, have to take the responsibility. Like they're bitch slapping you, man. Like where is the response? Where is the response? Where is the get the pissed off response? That's the Saints. I'm gonna tell you, because I was sitting in the stands with my family for this game. Like my 2 stepkids going to their first game. I'm like, can we leave? I'm like, yeah, it's boring. So like, you're right. This is awful. They'll never go back. I mean, it's terrible. The pregame was great. Awesome. We got down on the field. It was great. But the game itself, it wasn't for those chicken fingers. Those kids would have really died.
That's where you miss a guy like Jensen,
right?
Who will get one of those necessary personal fouls. One that's going to get the team rallied up. You lose the 15 yards.
Great point.
You ignite the team, and they don't have. Maybe Luke is the closest to that they have on the team right now. But after making a couple bonehead plays all year, he's not one to. I don't think he's one to step up and do that, or maybe has even earned the right to kind of, do that. But yeah, they're missing that fire, that intensity. As far as Baker, I can undoubtedly say that he's going to play this week.
You think he'll play well? Is he well enough to play? Is he going to practice? If he does, here's the thing: if he can't practice this week, and Kyle Trask is getting ready to play, that's an injury, an upper sternum injury. Even if the ribs aren't broken, we'll see how it goes along in the week. But man, I'm a little concerned about this.
He's sore, undoubtedly, but he's in pain. But he's going to be good to go. He's playing this game, so I wouldn't even mention the T word. Yeah, he will not be seeing the game unless it's well in hand. And even then, I don't think you see Trask coming this season at all. I think it's going to be Baker to start, Baker to finish.
What do you make of Baker's play? Because it's been up and down. He's had some good numbers this year. Again, just a week ago, we were talking about him being in the MVP conversation, and now we're talking about him possibly not being able to earn an extension. What do you make of his play last Sunday versus the Saints?
No, I don't think last Sunday's game has anything to do with whether they offer him an extension or not.
Okay.
Obviously, it's going to, again, we talked about whether Todd's back or not. I think he is going to be back. So I think Baker will be back. But I think that's the only realm of possibility where Baker's not back, as if Todd's not back. And, I know the Glazers want to see improvement. 9-8 record, gets you that winning record from, versus the 8-9 record from last year.
Yeah.
Does he need to win a playoff game at home? I'm sure they'd love to see that, but I don't know if that's a prerequisite to him staying on or not. But, Baker's been what he's been. He's been up and down. He's had one of the best statistical seasons he's had in his career. 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Obviously a couple careless throws this past week, but some of those interceptions will come on tip balls, and those you don't really count on the quarterback. I think he's played adequately well, a top 15 to 10 quarterback. And I mean, just look around the league right now. He's been able to stay relatively healthy and play in every game. And a lot of teams wish they had a quarterback that could do that. So, I think there's definitely been some inconsistencies, some missed opportunities, but at this point in the season, there's not many quarterbacks I'm taking over Baker Mayfield right now. Obviously the top tier guys, but we're looking at Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater. These guys are starting games for a team. Some guy, Easton Stick, Joe Flacco caught a heater, but I mean, we look around the league and Baker Mayfield's playing at, top, 13 to 18 level right now. And you really can't ask for more than that, especially on that contract.
JC Allen joining us here from Sports Illustrated covering the Bucs. Yeah, I can tell you without question that the Bucs are currently working on an extension and talking to Baker's representatives. I would not be shocked if it was announced this week, as a matter of fact. But we'll maybe that would not be a bad thing. And would that boost this team? Would it give a little bit of direction to the team? Like, this is our guy moving forward. Now, might be a little dangerous if he's injured and goes out and has a terrible game. But I think Baker has proven himself to be a guy that you can move forward with, that this team rallies around. Because here's the other thing, JC, is you can sit there and nitpick Baker, the good and the bad. The numbers are what they are this year, with a lot of adversity mixed in, first-year play caller, an offensive line that's been in flux, a lot of different issues on his team. But the bottom line is the numbers are really good. He's a top 8 rated quarterback, maybe even higher than that right now. And, he's a guy that if you can get him on a bridge contract, even better. And who else, drafting a quarterback, is that the answer? Well, it's hard. It's really hard. Obviously, the Bucs have never been able to draft and develop one, in 40 years. So, yeah, it's really, really hard to do. And, who else is out there in free agency that you'd rather have? So, to me, if you can get him on that bridge contract, well, I think you can. He'd be smart to sign one right now. I think it's a go-go. Sign Baker to a 3-year, Geno Smith type contract. Then I would also probably draft a quarterback and go from there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill, Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater, these are the names that are on.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew, those are your free agent quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Outside of, Kirk O'Chain's cousins, but he's probably so you really don't have many options available.
Right.
And let's say they're in it and they're one and done, right? They're in and they lose. They're picking 19th. Maybe Michael Penix falls to you,
if
maybe,
only.
Cam Ward is there,
Yeah.
But do you want to take those guys and throw them right into the fire right away? I don't think Todd does.
No,
especially if he's here. And you got to remember too, this team ate the Tom Brady money. They
Yep.
had very limited resources to build around. They're playing a lot of young guys, a lot of young players. Russell Gage goes down early in the offseason, in the preseason. They're down their number 3 wide receiver, looking for a 6th round pick and Trey Palmer to step up and play that role. And he had a coming out game other than that fumble. But I mean, that's a difficult catch to make. There should have been a little bit more lead there. But, this team this offseason, when they have a little bit more money to spend, I know that, you look at, you got to take care of guys, Baker and Antoine and Tristan and Evans and Levante. And, the list goes down the line with some of the other, Chase McLaughlin needs to be re-signed. He's been huge for this team. He's going to come in a pretty penny. You look at the contracts, but they're still going to have some flexibility and some cap space to use to improve this team and get better. This was supposed to be one of those years where, the Bucs, they'd be lucky to win the division. I mean, kind of liken it to the Rams, right?
Mm.
The Rams are in the playoffs. They were supposed to be nothing this year. And they've got, good play, good coaching, and they've been able to secure themselves a spot in the playoffs and, been on kind of a good streak recently. So, the Bucs would be smart to bring back Baker, because there really are no other options out there. And you sort of know, if you're not getting one of these top 3 guys and Jaden Daniels, May, or Williams, and you're not going to throw them into the fire. And it doesn't always work out to throw a rookie right into the fire. Right. Bryce Young has had his struggles, ups and downs. It's not like Anthony Richardson set the world on fire when he started the season before getting injured. The only one that's really kind of had really great success this year has been CJ Stroud.
Yeah, he's been great.
So, I think you stick with Baker for a short-term deal, 3-year deal, maybe an opt-out after 2 years, and you draft a quarterback maybe this year. I think you should always be drafting developing quarterbacks.
Yeah,
and you go from there. You see how it plays out. But, I mean, Bucs fans need to realize that, they've got this and listen, it happened in New England too after Brady left. You have this disillusioned sense that, this is the team that we're going to be and this is what we need to do. And, it's Super Bowl or bust. And it's just not the reality.
Yeah.
If they win the division and make it to the playoffs, that's a win. If they can upset in the wild card round, that's a win. And then next year you're reset. I mean, you got to remember too, with Todd Bowles, got the team late, didn't have any money this year. Let's, we got to kind of see what he has in his pocket too, to be able to spend some money and bring some guys in that he wants to do and kind of put his full stamp on a team. It's funny, the last 4 weeks it's been, oh, yay, and then they lose one and it's fire everybody. Baker needs to go. Bowles needs to go. Canales sucks. This and that.
Yeah.
And it's part of being a fan, right? Your emotion plays into it and you're invested into it. But the same, you kind of at some point you've got to take your diehard glasses off and kind of look at it from a logical scenario. And
so, all right. So where are you on Bowles? Like what if he?
I don't think you
said if they lose Sunday, he comes back.
If they lose Sunday, it's a different story. You have to have that conversation. But
if they lose in the first round of the playoffs, say they get boat raced like Dallas did last year, they beat a juggernaut Carolina team. And then they get boat raced by the Eagles or the Cowboys, whoever comes here. You still keeping Todd around?
I think if they come out absolutely flat, there's no will. But I think
did last Sunday.
Right. I think both of those teams are better than the Bucs. Are they? It's like, I think they are. You don't think the Eagles and the Cowboys are better than the Bucs?
Well, you would think the way the Eagles have played lately.
The Eagles have totally disintegrated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Cowboys, yeah, they're probably, you say better, right? It's like every week anybody can beat anybody in this league. So you're telling me you're asking me is the Cowboys roster better than the Bucs roster? Yes, it is. Is the Eagles roster better than the Bucs roster? Yes, it is. But you're playing at home. What are the injury situations? A lot of it goes into it. Does your team come out and play flat? I just gave my Bowles thing before you jumped on here, and I just as much as I love the dude as a human, I've seen enough to know that he's a below 500 coach. That's what his record is. We have 6 seasons to evaluate. He doesn't in a key game. You can't get your team fired up and get them ready. I just don't see him as a Super Bowl coach. He can get you 9-8, every year. If that's what you're looking for, great. That's what I aspire, and I know the Glazers aspire to something better.
I just don't know if you look at the landscape. I don't think Ben Johnson wants a head coaching job right now. I don't know who you're looking at around the league and saying, okay, this is the guy to replace him with right now. I just don't see that. I don't know if you're looking at, are you looking at Tress down in Jacksonville as the OC over there and saying, hey, this is the guy? Or like, who are you looking at and saying, this is the guy we need to bring in to replace him that will get us over the hump?
I haven't done my due diligence on that just yet, but I just know I think I need a new voice.
Well, and I'll give you a new voice. I think, eventually he would have been the coach of this team if Todd Bowles does fail. I think it's Dave Canales. And then I'll tell you.
He ain't ready.
I agree with that, but I also agree with that. I don't think he's ready. But that's part of the reason why I think if they make the playoffs, even if they win or lose, I think Bowles is back here for another year. And then if they struggle or anything like that, I think the organization really likes Canales. I think Jason Light really likes Canales. The players really respond to Canales. He's one of these young, bright offensive minds that are still relatively young in the league. And I think that if by next year, if he has success like he has this year and builds upon that, if he's back with the Bucs, he's going to get a head coaching opportunity. So why not have him be the one to follow Bowles in-house in the system? You're not changing the scheme. That's another thing too. Like if you bring in a new, now this offense, and the defense will have to anyways, but now this offense is learning a new scheme for the, a different scheme for the third consecutive year. Like, do you want that continuity?
No,
right?
no.
Build that.
Well, I want Canales to stay, but if I can get Mike Tomlin. Ooh.
Wow. I would
bring Mike Tomlin back to Tampa Bay.
I don't want Tomlin, and he's not coming back either.
Why? Wow. How do you not want Tomlin? How do you not want Tomlin?
He's one game away. If they win, they're in the playoffs, and he's never had a losing season. Why would the Steelers want to shake that up?
What if he wants to leave?
Yeah, and then on top of it, you may be able to trade for him.
That's really nice.
And then furthermore, it's no big secret.
Get away from draft capital.
Yeah, but you're getting a coach that is going to get you ready to go, is going to get you prepared to play, has won everywhere. He's won with the Steelers. And then there's no secret about it. The biggest mistake the Glazers made, and this is just the rumor out there, they let Mike Tomlin get out of that building. What if they can get him back in that building again with Dave Canales?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's in play.
Can I throw
Belichick? I don't think that's in play.
Right.
No Belichick. No, we don't want him.
Look at Jason's first 3 draft picks this past season. He's been crushing it in the draft. I don't think he's not going to trade draft picks for a player. I don't think he's going to do it for a coach.
That's a fair point. Let me throw another quarterback name out there. Russell Wilson. He's worked with Canales before. If you decide to move on from Baker or he's too expensive for you, do you think the Bucs would be interested in him? A lot of people would say, well, he's 35 years old, but he's also, a veteran signal caller. He
played really well this year.
He's been at the top of the league. I mean, if he doesn't cost you, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think he has.
He screams Raiders to me.
Okay,
it just screams Raiders
or Falcons.
No, I think Raiders. I think that's where he goes to the Raiders. It's where these older guys go. It just screams like the Raiders got me. Him and
Sierra does a residency at the Sphere. Yeah, right.
Atlanta. I think you're missing it here, my friend. Atlanta. Sierra wants to go to Atlanta. I believe she is. Well, she is from Atlanta, is she not?
Oh.
Okay, so she's from Atlanta. You get an opportunity to have the weapons.
I do not know that.
Well, and listen, I'm selling this here. You got Bijan Robinson. You have Kyle Pitts. You have Drake London. If I'm Russell Wilson, I look at this situation and go, you know what they're missing? They're missing a quarterback because, again, Desmond Ridder had no business being the starting quarterback of that team. And furthermore, they missed out on an opportunity. I don't care if you're doing the negotiating for Baltimore. I would have gone after Lamar Jackson, given up 2, 3, 4 first-round picks.
Justin Fields.
So now you go for the consolation prize. You're exactly right about that. And you go with Russell Wilson.
I mean, that could be a fit there. I don't know. I just as soon as this was reported, I just saw him in the black and silver. It's just
I think it'll be interesting to see where he goes because it's just a weird deal. I don't know how you play that well. You're the 6th rated quarterback in the league, and you're getting benched because you don't, because clearly Sean Payton wants to move on. Like Sean Payton and Russell Wilson do not see eye to eye. That's pretty damn clear.
Yep.
I think they'd be in play for Justin Fields if the Bears do decide to move on from him more than they'd be in play for Russell Wilson. But who knows? Arthur Smith might not have a job, and they might have a whole new coaching staff in there too. There's so many variables to consider these things as far as free agency and moving around and stuff. I think Baker's the most likely choice to come back. If Russell Wilson can't find a starting opportunity, maybe he comes on and latches on. But I don't think Russell Wilson's in a backup stage of his career, especially the way that he's played. I don't see them letting Baker out the door. The organization loves him. Jason Light's rooting for their success. It would take
a great fit
coaching change and getting rid of the offensive side of the ball as well. Maybe if the coaching change, the only way I see Dave Canales sticking around here is if they bring in Shane Waldron as their head coach from Seattle. But I don't even know. I haven't heard a lot of buzz about him in the head coaching cycle. So I don't even know if that's a possibility. So it's like
much to think about at a later time. We got a game to go win here at Carolina. And I don't see, and it's weird because, I went back and looked at that game against Carolina, and that game was way too close, way closer than it should have been. This team has nothing to play for, Carolina, which scares the hell out of me. Right. It's just it's Bryce Young. Is Bryce going to play? God, I hope he plays. I don't want to see Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton will carve this team up. They sit back in his zone, whatever. I don't want to see that. I'm worried. I'm worried about the game. If you can't get your team ready to play last week at home, are you going to be able to get them ready to play this week, even against a terrible football team like this? But it's the NFL. Anybody can beat you, and they damn near beat you last time. I'm a little worried about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think too. End of the season, you're not holding anything back. They're emptying out their playbook, trick plays, things that they were saving. Potentially down the line, things that they had it. They're emptying it out. Anything they can do to play spoiler to the Bucs right now is what they're going to try to do. They might not have nothing to play with, but this is their Super Bowl. This is, hey, we beat the Bucs, we knock them out of the playoffs. These are division rivals. They don't like each other. So yeah, they're going to get up. And remember, Brian Burns was ejected halfway through the game too, so they lost him. For part of that game as well, so he's going to want some retribution. Him and Luke and Cody going at it. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. But the Bucs know it's at stake. I had Zion McCollum on my podcast. We'll drop today. He talked about it. Hey, we know it's at stake. We know how we need to come and play. It's up to us. They're diving into film study days early. They're really kind of trying to hone in and get this W. So they know what they need to do. It's just about going out there and executing it. It's about and obviously, coaches need to make sure that they're dialing up the right plays and dialing up the right things for them to go out there. But this team is so devoid of talent. They really need to be able to, they need to put it away early so they're not worrying about stuff in the third, fourth quarter.
Yeah.
All right. We get our first offensive touchdown in the first drive of the game, too.
That would be nice. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Just once. Well, no, that's not a whole lot to ask. Just once.
I have time to do it. It's either now or never.
All right, JC, great stuff as always, my friend. Of course, I have to ask this question today of everyone that we come across. The Epstein list is coming out today. You're not on it, right? You're not going to be on that, right?
If I had Epstein money, man, for money to even be on that list, I don't know if I'd be talking to you. So no,
it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Right? I wish I could get on that plane. I wish I had the money to get on that plane. No, absolutely not. All right, you're safe then. All right, let me cross you off the list. All right, JC Allen's off the list. All right,
Jimmy Kimmel, who knows? He might be on the list. He might not.
Jimmy Kimmel's definitely on the list.
Threatening Aaron Rodgers, by the way, with legal suit.
That was crazy.
Woo.
I don't know. Let me think. Jimmy Kimmel. He talked in. I think when the A-Rod thing was, I think he was more right about than Jimmy Kimmel was about COVID. So we'll do that. didn't Jimmy have the blackface too? And wasn't he
Jack,
accused of molesting women as well? I think he was. Yeah. I don't know. I think I may be on Team A-Rod here.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Man Show. Remember that one?
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. That's right. One of my favorite shows of all time.
Right.
You know.
Bring that one
Back
back.
when we were allowed to do stupid things and laugh about it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, you can't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah, you can't get by women by having them jump on train.
Be canceled. You will be canceled. That's
Yeah.
it.
Is-
So-
What was I going to say there? Crap.
At this point, you probably want to get out of this conversation. You want to promote where we can find all of your content, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Bucks Game Day, Sports Illustrated. You can find me there. JC on NFL on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and Pirate Parlay podcast over on YouTube. You can find that there. Also on my
Pirate Parlay.
like I said, Zion McCollum dropping at 2:00 today.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Great,
Talk to
JC
you.
Allen. Congratulations.
Yes,
on the list.
absolutely.
Not on the list.
Yes,
Not on the
list.
list.
And of course, started with the sports web. I always got to mention that.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't. I'm like looking at Twitter, waiting for the list to come out. List ain't coming out.
No, I mean, really? Is it going to reveal all the names? Is it going to be
Well,
like
they dropped a lot of stuff last night or whenever it was, and like it's all redacted. so just stuff. Well, most of it is just blacked out. Most of the people, I guess, somebody has challenged it, so there's another 30-day reprieve, or some Jane Doe challenged it. So it's just like,
when are we going to get the Kennedy stuff? Who killed Kennedy? Because I thought we were supposed to get that a couple of years ago. We never got that.
No, never got that. Never got. Yeah, it's just
UFOs. They slowly coming out with that again. I think Hollywood foreshadows a lot of that stuff.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they do.
Laughing in our face.
Yes.
You can't do anything about it.
That's right. You ain't gonna do anything. We're doing whatever the hell we want to do. But the Kimmel stuff and the Aaron Rodgers stuff is kind of laughable, because the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing was thou doth protest too much, my friend. I mean, he came out guns a-blazing. Yeah. Good stuff. I love the fact, though, that Aaron Rodgers has no fear to just tweak those guys anytime he can. I love it. I appreciate the courage. I appreciate the slings and arrows that he has to take for doing it. Most of the stuff he's been right on. So I gotta give him credit for that. And
you kind of wonder how long that's going to work with ESPN, because we all know political agenda, and Pat McAfee always has him on. So when does it become enough? And then, Pat is dropping, S-bombs and dropping F-bombs, and, it's just being Pat McAfee. I love Pat McAfee as a broadcaster. I just don't know how long he's going to last on ESPN. And I think Aaron Rodgers is also a contribution to that, where, how long? How long does it last?
It doesn't fit their narrative. You're absolutely 100% right, bro.
Nope.
It doesn't. And it's when I hired McAfee, I was like, this is interesting.
No.
I'm like, because he does not he's towed the narrative a lot more. Like, he's bought into a lot of their stuff, but he kind of winks and nods at Aaron, like, I know, and gives him the opportunity to say the things he wants to say. It's kind of like the old Jim Rome shtick that he would do. Like, he would have his callers say the stuff that he couldn't say, and then say, you guys can't be saying that, and then say exactly what they're saying, and repeat it like 6 times. Like, you can't say that. Not on this show. Don't say blah, 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 and then blame it on the callers.
Right.
So there's a little bit of that going on, but I agree with you. There's too many people in the upper echelon of ESPN and that will not put up with this stuff for much longer. They won't.
No
matter, but the funny thing is, and maybe this was McAfee's play. I don't know what's in his contract, but because they gave him a lot of money. Now, if it's in his contract that they cancel him because if he's negotiated a really good buyout. So no matter, like, if you don't like the content, if something happens on the show, you still have to buy me out for X amount of dollars. And then he goes back to, doing his show on YouTube and everywhere else and pockets the money. I'll say that's an attaboy. That's an attaboy. But right now I'm putting him in the sellout category.
Yeah.
I kind of think he's sold out. I think a lot of the stuff he used to say and used to do, he doesn't do anymore. Just simple as that.
I mean, if somebody gives you an obscene amount of money to, kind of be a little bit neutered, I think, JP, you would take that. I think we both take that, wouldn't we? Obscene amount of money to kind of neuter myself. I mean, you sell it all the time. They always talk about Metallica. Metallica is the greatest rock band of all time. But people go, well, Metallica sold out. Yeah, they sold out venues. They sold out to millions and millions of fans out there. They made money. Eventually, you want to be the renegade, but at the end of the day, you have to sell something in order to make some money. It's show business, my friend. So wouldn't you do it?
It depends on how much you're asking me to sell out.
Well, how much was the contract?
If you came on here and said, I'll give you, $10 million to go promote Pfizer and all these other and I'm like, no, I can't do it. I'm not going to kill people. I'm not going to tell people to go do something that's going to kill them.
Right.
And that's, and it's completely fraudulent and no, I can't do it.
But if you don't have
Travis Kelce, I don't care how much money. Like you're Travis Kelce. And you can believe what you want to believe. We don't need to adjudicate that here. The data is overwhelming now. Just many of us knew it before, the data became overwhelming. So I couldn't do it. And when it comes to like life and death issues and people, I can't do that. I can't kill people. No.
Okay.
Just
you could stop saying shit. I just said shit.
Oh
shit.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't say that.
Right. You could stop saying the F word.
We have to. We're going on the radio soon, so we have to we have to now keep our. But we're not yet. So
I never say that. So
you don't. You never say it, but we
privileged information.
And by the way, it's so hilarious now of all the stuff that is out in the media that is damaging to people.
Yes.
Listen, no, we're gonna sell 25 million or whatever it is, bazillion Call of Duty games that are so realistic that it allows people to be completely desensitized to shooting other human beings and killing them. Okay. By the way, if you want to do a deep dive on why there's mass shootings, go look at the correlation between video games, shooting video games, realistic shoot up video games, and mass shootings. Go look at that correlation. Go see how many mass shootings there were. And by the way, there were more guns per capita before video games came out and all the psychotropic drugs that kids are taking these days. Go look at the correlation between psychotropic drugs and video games and mass shootings. It's because there were more guns per capita. It's not the guns, folks. It's the society. It's what we're giving kids. So we can't say shiz or F because that's damaging to children. But you can give 11-year-olds a video game that makes it feel exactly like they're killing other human beings. That's okay because we are big corporations, Hollywood, and we can promulgate violence and shooting it. Yeah, of course, nobody cares about all the violence that's in the media. That has nothing to do with people wanting to go out and do mass shootings. So Hollywood's absolved of all that. It's the guns. Think about that for a second. Use your brain, people. Use your brain. I'm not here for hand everybody an AK-47. I don't think that's the answer either. And we need background checks. Yes, we need to make sure the people that have guns aren't whack jobs. We don't do a very good job of that. Maybe the laws that exist, we should enforce the laws that exist before we start walking into people's homes and taking their guns. The law-abiding people. Okay. But go look at the correlations between those things. I don't know how we got on this subject, but I can't say F or S on a because that's going to be damaging to the children. They can have free access to all the porn in the world that they want. But if I say F or S on seven
deadly words in radio. Remember that. Oh,
wait a minute.
Wait
a minute.
Yeah, ESPN has to Right. ESPN has to apologize, by the way, for stepping in it once again, besides the fact that Alabama and Texas have been eliminated, which is unbelievable. That's great. But they also showed a flasher there.
Oh, my God.
Because nobody's seen that before. But, of course, it's I mean, you got to apologize for that. I mean, I thought, that was probably better than,
the list of their sins.
Right.
That's what 732
right
on the list. Yeah.
Come on. I mean,
what they've done to damage society. You're going to apologize for that? How about you apologize for that abomination of college football committee you put together and promulgated as some autonomous group making a fair decision on who should be played? Right. That's what you should be apologizing for, not some chick's boobs that got shown for 2 seconds. Are you kidding me? Don't apologize for Kirk Herbstreit. Don't apologize for that. I mean, that was the best part of the show.
Right. I mean, do you remember?
Apologize for Desmond Howard trying to tell me Michigan never cheated and it had nothing to do. Apologize for that.
Right.
But by the way, that thing just went away. See ya.
Oh, yeah, because you know why? Jim Harbaugh and Michigan are going to win it. And it's going to be like a Tom Brady situation where
and then they'll have to vacate it later.
Probably later, but to this.
And they'll award some SEC team the national championship.
Right. It's going to be like a Pete Carroll situation where Pete Carroll goes up.
Washington, they finished second. Yeah, but they're not. SEC.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, we got to take a break. This show has gone completely off the rails.
Love it.
All right, we are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Please, if you're involved in an accident or your car has been totaled, give them a call. That's right in their wheelhouse. They might be able to get you some money. If you have an insurance claim that's not going well, get an attorney. Get the Jeeves Law Group. They are local folks that know the local judicial system. All right, they know the people who work in it. They know how to do it here locally. If they have to go to trial, they are respected lawyers who will get you a great settlement. That's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. All right, quick break. Come back on the other side. We got some Bolts to talk about. We got more college football. TJ Pittenger is going to join us from the going to talk some FSU, so we'll do that. Stay with us. Oh, I have to do the break today, don't I?
Yes, you do have to do the break. I'm sitting here like,
and away we go.
Tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays, get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE.
He also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you want to get healthy, you want to get your testosterone right, you want to get your nutrition right, you want to get your workouts right, get your immune system right, go with Bay Area Modern Medical Center. And Chris Lugo will spend an hour and a half with you, going over your blood work, making sure he knows exactly what's going on with you, not like the jamokes I went to at the urgent care center who don't give a shiz about you. They will at Bay Area Modern Medical Center take the time to find out what's going on with you and attack the problems, not just the symptoms. That's Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Make them your new primary care. BAMMC.com. Go to the website, make an appointment, change your life. It'll help you. Trust me. All right, give me an update on TJ. How's he joining us? So JP's running the show today, as you can tell.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send him a link. So you have to send him a link in your messenger, because I can't do it.
Okay, all right.
But we are live on my Facebook page and of course my YouTube
cool.
page. Are you seeing all these comments that we're getting?
Yeah, I was going to get to the comments right now. Why don't you go ahead while I take care of business right here?
Yeah. Get to the comment, because you have to run the comments and you also have to send the link. So
okay, all right.
I'll tell you right now. Let's go out to. I put some videos in there of me interviewing Brian Kelly before and after the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Okay, let's get to the comments first. So let's do that first.
Okay.
This one I wanted to get to. My good friend John Hill. Will the Lightning have a talk with the organist? Do not play music until you hear the whistle. It's old, but we never discussed the strange events on the New Year's Eve game with the stinking Canadians. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks, Johnny. Happy New Year to you, buddy. I don't know if you saw this, but this was one of the most bizarre events I've ever seen. So who was the goalie? That Moltenbo was the goalie that night. So he freezes the puck, right? Mm-hmm. And, he freezes it for a good, 1, 2, 3 count. The organist starts playing, like everybody, players are going off the ice, right? Because a lot of times you can't hear the whistle because
right.
It's loud, right?
Yeah.
Things are happening. That was a point where the bolts were pushing. There was it was loud. So everyone assumes we're going to have a face-off, right? So Johansson, as he's wont to do, skates up to the corner because the goalies like to stretch their legs when they get a whistle and, get their legs moving a little bit. So he skates out of the crease all the way to the boards. Now, I don't know. I didn't see Marty's post game, Marty St. Louis, the head coach of Montreal, if this is something that they saw on tape and were trying to do. So Maltenbo freezes it and then sees Johansson skate to the corner, shoves it over to his defenseman, I forget his name, who shoots it the length of the ice into the open net. And I'm like, what the hell? Everybody's like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
And so, Cooper's going nuts. Nobody knows what happened. And they go over and they say, the linesmen were coming in to get the puck, and then they circled back out because the puck, it was almost like Marty had told them, we're going to do this. We see it on tape. Johansson likes to go get out of the net quick before the whistle. And which, if that's the case, good on them. But I've never seen it before. And Phil Esposito said in 61 years of hockey, I've never seen anything like it. And so they skated over and they said, we never blew the whistle. There's nothing to really replay here. The whistle never blew. And it's like,
wow, and it's just one of those things, you don't want to say, anybody's at fault here.
Right.
Should the officials have blown the whistle? Yeah. I think that's if there's any fault here, that's the expected thing. Like if a goalie freezes the puck for 2 to 3 counts, then you blow the whistle. Why did they not blow the whistle? That's the expected thing. He didn't, you cover the puck, and then you're supposed to timely, if you're going to play the puck out, you cover it and you flip it out. You don't cover it, look around, 1, 2, and then shovel it off to your defenseman after everybody's skating off the ice. So I think, in some way there was some responsibility here on the refs to blow the damn whistle in an expected situation. So bizarre happenings, to be sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to try to send him the link here. Let's see if this will work, because you did send me the link before, so we'll see.
Send him the same link, because I don't have his messenger. That's
I got
exactly
you.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's do that, and we'll continue to go through these great comments. Welcome, Giovanni Suzio. I think Tom Brady made a mistake on going to Bruce Arians and telling him to get out of Tampa Bay. Yeah, Giovanni. Yeah, that's when all these shenanigans started. Let's just be honest. We've done it enough here on this show. We all know what happened. Okay. Brady didn't want to be here. He wanted to be in Miami, started to get out of here, because his wife wanted him to be in Miami for his last season. And he was under contract to the Bucs, and Arians was like, yeah, that's not happening. Give me 5 first-round picks and you can go. He got mad at Arians for not letting him out of the contract and said, okay, if I come back, it's going to be without Bruce Arians. And the Glazers were like, what are we going to do? We're going to say no to Tom Brady when one more year of Tom Brady? No, we're not. So, okay, so Todd's going to be the coach. Okay, let's give it a shot.
Right.
And, and had Brady been Brady, it all would have worked out. But Brady wasn't Brady. Brady lost 15 pounds, all the crap that went on in his personal life that I'm sure he blames on Bruce Arians, because he couldn't get to Miami. Which, by the way, even if he got to Miami, would it have made that much of a difference? I don't know. Who knows? But his marriage dissolved. The whole damn thing was a train wreck. And and here we are. But you know what? We play for the NFC Championship, the NFC South Championship on Sunday. So I'm here for it.
Well, you did catch the Tom Brady comments from IG, how he was actually considering coming back this year. So what would have happened if he did that? And you have Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. Do you think because all Jeff Darlington said from ESPN, local Seminole guy, is that Brady, the only team he was going to go back to was the Bucs. So what if that happens? Do you think they accept him back?
Yeah. I think they would, and because they get 20% surcharge if Brady plays on all their suites and sponsorship deals. So
right.
Yeah. I don't know. That's so far-fetched. I don't even know. Nathan Elliott says, I sent a handwritten card to Brian and Brian Ford, other staff members for Christmas. He took the time and sent us a handwritten card to us as well. Brian Ford, yes, is the best COO in the business, hands down, without question. And it's a big part of why this organization has really become so beloved in this. There was a time when, all the local charities and everybody kind of scoffed at the Buccaneers, or like, oh, the Buccaneers. They'd roll their eyes. Since Brian Ford has come in, that has completely changed. He has really done a hell of a job in the community, got the players out in the community. The Buccaneers have given back a lot, continue to give back a lot, and it's been a great metamorphosis for this franchise, doing the right thing, and we're here for it, totally. All right, let's welcome in our good friend TJ Pittenger from the Double Fries No Slaw podcast, FSU expert. I believe you were down in Miami for that travesty of a football game. Don't even call it a ball game.
I opted out.
You opted out. Me too.
Yeah, listen, I could see how that thing went on my back porch while I was watching it, so I didn't need to be there at all.
I probably watched about 20 minutes of the game. Couldn't tell you. I knew exactly what was going to happen. We've been talking about it on the show a lot, TJ, but my take is it's disgusting what the adults did to these kids. It's disgusting what ESPN did to the game of college football, how they dishonored the game of college football, how they dishonored Decades and decades of great coverage of college football to me. I don't trust them anymore. Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler and Lee Corso used to be my best friends and my favorite show. I can't even watch it anymore because this was all about a political payback. It was all about greed. It's all about money. It was all about power. It was all about promoting the SEC, ESPN promoting their brands, and all these arguments that people want to make about football and Jordan Travis and all that had nothing to do with it. This was all about politics. And everybody knows, well, the smart people know it. And then you make these kids go out and play on ESPN and sacrifice them and have them be embarrassed to collect a bowl check. The whole thing just makes my stomach turn. And I'm disgusted by it. It all starts with the powers that be at ESPN. That's my diatribe. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, they control it, and the people that, are out there saying, oh, ESPN has nothing to do with the committee. They don't impact things. If you don't think multi-billion-dollar organizations are the ones running literally, and not to take it here, but are literally running everything in this country.
Yes.
Come on, get the world.
Yes.
And then you hear even people that work at ESPN or are college football coaches or college football players, like Jaden Daniels comes out, Heisman Trophy winner, is like, yeah, I think they did that for ratings. And Desmond Howard comes out, works for ESPN. I think they wanted the most favorable TV matchup. And so you've got people who coaches come out. Eli Drinkowitz, coaches from Missouri in the SEC, was like, yeah, I don't think that, people are coming out and saying, they asked the Michigan kid who was sitting on the field after beating Alabama and was like, yeah, we weren't worried about Bama. We were just shocked that this happened. And so, yeah, anybody who watches football or understands football, outside of, Alabama fans, Florida State haters, Gators, Canes, stuff like that. But there are even several of those that are like, hey, we're happy this happened because we don't like them, but we know this was wrong. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it was an invitational. It's not truly a playoff. It's an invitational, and Florida State didn't get the invite. And so, yeah, it sucks because, the things you love about college football, are the fact that you could play your way in. What's frustrating the most, I think, is I said this, if any other team, which it's happened in the pros, it's happened with different things. If any other team went out and won a game with their backup against their biggest rival, right? You guys were talking about Baker Mayfield goes down and Kyle Trask leads the Bucs to victory and they win the NFC South this weekend. Yeah. It'd be the greatest story. It would lead ESPN, and it would be huge. And you've seen that with the Eagles and different teams that won. But in Florida State's case, they were penalized for something that we would reward everyone else. Like the Lakers, LeBron goes down and they somehow win. It would be the biggest story ever.
What tells you it had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with that. This was a payback for FSU trying to dissolve the ACC, which would have gotten them out of their grant of rights, in the ACC deal, which makes ESPN hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. And if you try to take hundreds of millions of dollars out of ESPN's pocket, you think when they get a chance to screw you, they're not going to try to screw you? That's exactly what they did. You know why? Because they could. And they can promote their SEC brands, Texas and Alabama, as they enter into their $1 billion agreement with the SEC. It's such a conflict of interest. And I don't know any person with a brain cell that can't see the fact that ESPN they own the college football playoff. They put together the committee. They do all that. They own Boo Corrigan's brother is the vice president of production of ESPN, for God's sakes. It's the biggest conflict of interest I think I've ever seen in some, what is supposed to be an autonomous body. It's a joke.
TJ, what did you think of Tate opting out? Because that was kind of a shock. He was practicing, getting ready for the game, and then all of a sudden he decides to opt out. Where do you stand on that issue?
Yeah, I mean, I understand why. I think the timing sucked. My take is actually that it wasn't as much on him as it was his camp and his family. Not to point fingers, but whatever, I'll just do it. So I think it was more, I had been told that Tate was pretty happy being a quarterback in Tallahassee, and the benefits that we'll say come with that, whether he was a backup or not. Not that necessarily he was a kid that was going to go take the bull by the horns and go be a starter somewhere. I just don't necessarily think that that's him. And so I think when Florida State was pretty actively recruiting in the transfer portal. Obviously, they ended up getting DJ Uyunglele a couple of days ago. I think that I don't know, just didn't sit well with his camp, didn't sit well with his family. I think his intention was to stay and fight out for that job or just be the backup again, whatever that would end up being. And then I think eventually his family got to him. But I think, which is fine.
Was he going to start? Was he going to start the Orange Bowl, or
he was going to start the Orange Bowl? Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I think they would have played both of them. Like they were both getting, half and half reps, but the intention definitely was for him to start. And so for him,
who did he transfer to?
He hasn't landed yet.
Exactly. Why would you not go out on that stage and show something to get yourself? I mean, it's an opportunity to go out there and make a few throws and show some people you can play. But I guess he thought, well, we're going to get smashed. No, I don't have any receivers to throw to. I'll just look terrible. Maybe I'll just opt out.
Or
but Brock Glenn threw for more yardage, the third string guy, than Jalen Milroe did in the bowl.
Yes. By the way,
you could have gone out and thrown for more. You could have done something. But really, what frustrates me is I have no problem with any kid that wants to transfer, any kid that wants to leave, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I mean, would I rather kids not? Sure, but it was the timing of it. Like the team left for the Orange Bowl on Christmas Day, and that is when he let Mike Norvell and them know that this is happening. And so, like, I'm just telling you, the team, the equipment bus was already on the road. Like, there was a bag with Tate's equipment in it already in Miami because those guys leave earlier to be able to set up the locker room and all that stuff. So, like, it wasn't, oh, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. They were expecting Tate to be there. And there was a bag with his jersey in it on the semi going down there with all the equipment and stuff. And so, to me, that's what's frustrating. Not necessarily the fact that he left. It's the fact that you really left your team out on a limb, like on Christmas Day. To me, that's what's frustrating.
Talk about DJ a little bit. It was talked about how they wanted Cam Ward. Of course, he decided to go to the NFL draft. So, is DJ the perfect selection?
Wait a minute. Let me jump in here, Peter. You're a professional broadcaster. Don't just try to get away with saying DJ. To start the question, you have to make an attempt to say it at least once, okay? And then you can say DJ, but you just can't roll with DJ. Uyunglele. Say it.
Uyunglele.
that was a C plus. We're 3 days into 2020, so it's a C plus effort.
That's gonna be a drop. Try that again.
Uyunglele. Did I get it? Damn it!
I was closer. The first one, I think you just threw up in your mouth. I don't think you said anything. But that was pretty good.
I like DJ Uyunglele. Now you can just say DJ U for the rest of the show.
DJ, I have to give it the law on this show is you got to give it a shot the first time, and then you can say DJ
it's brutal. Yeah, it's brutal. Kids from the West Coast and Hawaii and stuff. It's not easy. So yeah, I do like him. I mean, I think Cam Ward. I mean, everybody kind of wanted. I mean, and there was a reason he was the number 1 rated transfer quarterback, and a reason that he's probably going to be a hope. I mean, I would hope that he's like a day 2 draft pick. I hope he didn't skip college and goes in the 5th or 6th round. Though if that's his choice, that's his choice. But
he may go really high. Guys with his physical ability tend to everybody starts off with them and like Richardson. Oh, he's a 3rd round pick. And then by the time the draft rolls around, they're all drooling about his physical abilities, and he's the 4th overall pick. So,
and whether deserved or not, NFL teams do overdraft for a quarterback.
They do.
Because it's just such a commodity, right? You can get away with anything else on your roster, but if you've got a quarterback, but as far as DJ goes, I think he does fit it. I mean, he wasn't great at Clemson. He was actually the last quarterback to beat Florida State before the Orange Bowl. But last quarterback to beat Florida State in Tallahassee in 2022 when they lost to Clemson. Played well at times, but I don't know. I mean, you look at what Clemson's done with quarterbacks since then, in Klubnik and others. It's not been pretty up there anyway. But was really good at Oregon State. Actually had a better. I don't think QBR is the end all be all, but actually had a better QBR than Jordan Travis last year. He was a little less accurate. He turned it over slightly more, but Jordan had a lot of picks, I think, that were dropped. He kind of got lucky with some of that stuff. I think he's a little bit more. He's not as electric of a runner by any means. But he is a little bit more durable, right? And Jordan's injury was a pretty freak injury, but I do think he'll be able to kind of withstand some of those hits that Jordan, would get knocked out for a play or two type
He's
stuff.
a big boy. What's he, 6'4", 250?
Yeah, he's big and
boy.
he's tall and he's got a big arm. And, you would hope that the trend of him getting a little bit better at Oregon State would kind of continue. And I think Norvell does a pretty good job with quarterbacks. And if he can get a little bit better than he was at Oregon State, then I think that Florida State can go out and be in every game that they play next year. And I think he probably raises your, with Brock, with Tate or Brock, whatever. I think your ceiling was probably like 8-4 with DJ.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
You can get to a 10, 11 wins. I'm not saying they do it, but I think your ceiling raises. I'm never going to predict a team to go undefeated 2 years in a row, but I think you could get to 10, 11 wins with DJ.
I agree. I think, and let's just be honest, these, especially with Norvell's offense and other offenses, you don't, because let's be honest, the knock on DJ is he's not, the brightest bulb in the chandelier. All right. That's the knock on him. And a lot of these offenses now, it's simplified to take advantage of what he does best. And that's run, RPOs, big arm throws. And it's going to, Mark, you said it, Mike Norvell is really good with quarterbacks, and you get it down to what these guys are best at. And that's good coaching. And he's going to have a lot of skilled players around him. I mean, let's talk a little bit about the skill guys that are coming back next year. You got Hakeem Williams, you got Dustin Hill, you got Teofili, you got who else is in the backfield? You got a couple of good running backs that are coming in, right?
Yeah, Keziah Holmes, who played in the bowl game, Ja'Kai Douglas, who was probably your most effective player on offense, kind of be like your Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
he's coming back as well. He's really good. And then you brought in 4 4-star wide receivers. You mentioned Hakeem Williams, a 5-star last year. I expect him to have a bigger role. Destin Hill, who was a 4-star a couple of years ago, delayed getting onto campus, but there as well. So their wide receiver core is really good. I expect the offensive line to be good. Like they've just brought in a 5-star tight end, second best tight end in the country, and Landon Thomas. Yeah. I think they'll be really good offensively again, and they're kind of big game hunting right now. They're in talks with Evan Stewart, the Texas A&M transfer. If they could go out and land him, he's certainly kind of your replacement for Keon Coleman if everything kind of works out there. And if you're able to land him, I think that they've got a long way to go for that. But yeah, I think offensively they'll be good. I think there'll be questions around defense because you lost Jared Verse, you lost a few linebackers, you got some youth in the secondary. But I mean, who wants to talk about defense anyway? Florida State had one of the best defenses in the country, and it counted against them.
Nobody cares.
Yeah,
right.
Put everybody on offense and win games 56-52, and you'll make the playoffs. So
right,
offensively, I think they'll be really good.
How much of an impact do you think, or how excited do you think Florida State is getting Marvin Jones Jr.?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should have, they felt like it was a missed opportunity a couple of years ago. And their track record with defensive ends is pretty ridiculous right now. Like what they did with Jermaine Johnson, I saw his tipped pick 6 the other day, which was ridiculous for the Jets. What they did with Kier Thomas was really, really good. And then obviously 2 years of Jared Verse is pretty special. They developed Pat Payton into the ACC's Rookie of the Year in 2022, and then he was really, really good for the Noles. So, I mean, I think what they sell at defensive end is really strong. And, as excited as they are to, get a kid that's a legacy who, his dad's the best linebacker to ever play for Florida State, although Derek Brooks is my favorite, Buck of all time. Shade Tree was just ridiculous in college. And so, getting a legacy kid like that, getting a kid who has measurables and intangibles that you just can't teach size and speed and quickness. I actually don't think Marvin Jones Jr. comes in and is like Jared Verse 2.0 this year, but I think you could develop him into, I think he's been used wrong at Georgia, as good as Georgia does a lot of things. I think lining him up at linebacker wasn't necessarily their best move. I think Marvin Jones Jr. could be just an animal in 2025. So I think he'll have an impact this year. I think next year he could be ridiculous.
Hey, speaking of Georgia, what'd you think about what Kirby said after the bowl game? I thought that was a class act. I predicted that he would do something and say something like that. And I think to all the people out there, they were like, oh, that's Florida State's team, 63-3. I think the other coach pretty much said it right. Did he not? Yeah.
I mean, I think you hate it for like you said, I hate it as an FSU guy. You hate it as an FSU. Like we hate it from that perspective too, but it just sucks for college football, right? Like bowls will never mean what they once meant. Like there's just no way. Even they talk about revenue sharing with players and different things that could make the bowls better. And there are ways that you can improve it, but there's no amount of revenue that you can give to make a top 10 pick play football, right? Like there's no amount of like, oh man, $50,000. Okay, great. I'm still not risking millions for this, right? And so it's never going to be as good as it once was, but it sucks for where the bowls have gotten to. And you've got, half your bowls have quarterbacks in them that you've never heard of before. And to me, that's obviously the most important position on the field. And so, yeah, it sucks. And then when you have a situation like, all of the components, everybody's been making such a big deal about Florida State's guys opted out because of the number that opts out. But when you have all of the components at one time, Florida State's a very veteran team, a very senior laden team, a very banged up team. I think of their 20 something opt outs, I think like 17 or 18 guys were like dealing with something, not like season ending injuries or anything like that, but just banged up to where you're not putting off surgery for exhibition. Right. And so you're just going and getting that work done and moving on. So I think Kirby knows that. Like, it wasn't just, Florida State's got a bad culture, and that's why everybody opted out. No, you were dealing with a historic screw job. You were dealing with a very veteran, senior-laden team, guys looking at the NFL, and then also just the fact that you had guys pretty banged up. And so, it's super commendable by Kirby to basically say, like, hey, that wasn't a real game, right? Like, that wasn't their team. That wasn't a real game. That's stupid. We shouldn't be doing that, and he didn't blame Florida State. He didn't blame Mike Norvell. He didn't say like, well, their players are a bunch of cowards. What's unfortunate is Kirby and them had the same number of guys opt out. Unfortunately, they were all just like second and third stringers, minus Howard and a couple more. So they didn't see the same impact. But I'm sure he doesn't like it for his team either to have 27 guys opted out, right? Like nobody likes that. And so, if there's any team in the country that could withstand it, it is unfortunately Georgia, and that's who Florida State was matched up against. Yeah. But I think he hates it for the sport itself. It sucks for the sport. And the 12 team will help it a little bit because you'll at least have 12 teams where guys don't opt out of. And then maybe you don't care about teams 13 through 25 plus. But I think it does suck for the sport in general.
How would you fix it? How would you?
I've seen everything thrown around from, revenue sharing with the players. I do think that the top 12 teams playing in playoffs will help because you'll 1 through 12, you'll at least not have opt-outs. So that would be all of your New Year's Six games, all of your, BCS games, all of your playoff games. That will help that aspect. And then, how many first or second round picks are there on teams 13 through 25? There certainly are some, but you'd think it's less than what's, at the very, very top. And so I think you're going to see some of that. I think that once you have the 12 team playoff, you're going to eliminate all of those opt-outs or most of them. And then I think you've got to start to look at the calendar. A big part of it is not only the opt-outs, but the transfers, right?
Yes.
The guys that are moving on. Ohio State didn't have an opt-out at quarterback. They had a transfer. And so they're down to their second string. Their second string guy gets hurt during the game, and they got to go third string there. Well, if the calendar was different and you didn't have guys transferring in the middle of bowl season, you could maybe fix some of that. There's also, they've talked about, I mentioned it, revenue sharing with some of the players. I don't think the NCAA or these bowls are ever going to go for that because they're just greedy, money hungry.
Exactly.
So I don't see that happening. I think moving the calendar is probably the most realistic thing to kind of eliminate some of the transfers. People have talked about moving the game to week 0. I don't know how that works because what if you miss a bowl by that much? How do you schedule a game in time? Do you give everybody bowls 1 through 132? So I don't know. I think that calendar moving will help. The playoff will help a little bit, and hopefully we can kind of get it back a little bit better, or just eliminate 3 games off the regular season and make it a 64 team playoff. I don't know. That'd be fine with me too.
Do it that way.
Well, I think you get into a lot of like how many home games do cities need. You start penalizing, small towns all across America because every game is millions in revenue for each and every team. So I don't think you necessarily want to screw with that. But I think eventually this has to go to an NFL model because that's what it is. It's professional football at the highest level of college ball, and separate the haves and the have-nots. I think you could probably do the top, and really, honestly, the top 96 teams you could do, or you could do, maybe the top 82 teams. I don't know how it all works out. 5-6 super conferences, put them back into their geographic, historical homes, right where they should be, reinstate the regionality of college football that really, this ACC having Cal and Stanford is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's all just driven by money now, right? So, there has to be, and I'm guessing it's going to be the federal government would have to do it and say, all right, we're scrapping the model that exists now. We are going to appoint, not ESPN, but we are going to appoint a blue ribbon committee to set up, 6 super conferences, 10 teams in every conference or whatever it is, or a division. Win your division, you get into conference final, get into conference championship, you're into the playoff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's the players are represented by a union, just like college, just like the professional football, and there's a revenue share. And then you take the football programs out of the university, okay, and because you're going to have to do that for Title IX purposes. And Title IX people will say, you can't do that. I'm like, well, wait a minute. The revenue is all going to go back to support all the women's programs and have them all paid for as well. So you can do this, and it needs to be done. It needs to be bold leadership to do this. The players have to be paid, and then this just becomes a financial, arm of the university, like any booster club would be. And the money goes back into the athletic departments. The games stay on campus. The teams stay on campus. If the players want to go to school, they can go to school. If they don't want to go to school, they don't have to. Stop the travesty of having players that want nothing to do with an education, taking up seats in a classroom for kids who want to. Let's just call it what it is. It's professional football and just move on. I mean, that's what it is anyway. Kids that want to go to school, go. Kids that don't really. You know that, TJ. Since I was in school, it's been that way. Yeah. So, I think that's where it eventually needs to go. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think you get to a point where it might help you out with some of this NIL, not nonsense, but just craziness around it. Yeah. You make them employees. Everybody signs a contract. Boom.
Exactly.
There's none of this. The nonsense part of it is and I am fully on board with Florida State and its collective doing this.
Yeah,
but it's crazy that it is the nonsense side of the fact that the average Joes, me and you, are the ones sending our checks in to buy these players and induce them to come to college and stuff like that. Like, that's not what NIL was designed for, right?
It's ridiculous.
And so, yeah, you make them in, and I do it every month because I want to win.
And they're now the NIL, the collectives are battling their own universities, for booster money. Like, boosters don't know who to give the money to. Do we give it to the school? Do we give it to the football program? Do we give it to the collective? Like, where do you want my money to go?
With it?
I mean, it's becoming so ridiculous. And if you had the professional model, then it would be like that money would go into a pot and then distributed to the players in the form of salaries. So,
and then if your agent wants to go out and get you true NIL deals, like true NIL deals with Nike or the JP Peterson show or whatever, right? Like, not just these are not NIL deals, right? Like, they're not pay for play. Like, hey, we're going to pay you to come to our college, which is, it's fine because everyone's doing it right now, but it is nonsense. Like, that's not what this was set up to be, right? And if a kid gets a deal with Gatorade, it should be because he's getting a deal with Gatorade, not because he went to, Miami or Florida State or whatever. So, yeah, I think that would help it as well, too.
Going back to Florida State, do you think the eventual progression is for them to go to the Big Ten? A lot of people mention the SEC. I can't see it. I think they burned the bridge there. So is the Big Ten the best move for them to leave the ACC, in your opinion, TJ?
Yeah, I think that the Big Ten is most likely at this point. I think it's what the president wants. I think they like the academic side as well. Personally, like, if I put away the grudge side of it, like, I don't really want to go to the Big Ten just because I'd rather travel to these SEC stadiums than Illinois and Rutgers and some of these other ones. But, anything's better than, what we're at right now with the ACC.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the Big
SEC.
Ten. Yeah, for sure.
They don't want
it'll be the Big Ten. But I could also see a scenario where, money heals a lot of bridges and wounds and stuff. And I could see a scenario where the SEC and ESPN didn't want to let Florida State kind of get away. So I think they'll make an offer. I don't think they have the money the Big Ten has. So I still think it'll end up being the Big Ten. But if, you may hate the SEC right now, but if that's your only life raft coming up here in a few months or a year or whatever, like, Florida State will jump anywhere to get out of the ACC at this point. But to answer the question, I do think it's the Big Ten for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said. I mean, culturally, it seems like a better fit in the SEC, but you also don't want to get in bed, with the snakes that just bit you, right?
For sure.
You don't want to do that. You don't want it because you've been through a few decades with the ACC, and let's just be honest with it, a very, love-hate relationship. The ACC has never embraced FSU and vice versa. It's always been, kind of a parasitic relationship in terms of media rights because the ACC pretty much exists off the FSU and Clemson and Miami and those programs in terms of the revenue that they bring. So, I get it, but the Big Ten will be a national conference now. If the national in terms of West Coast, you're going to obviously have the Northeast and the Midwest represented, and now the Southeast. And who do you think comes with them? Clemson, Miami, North Carolina, Virginia Tech. Who do you think?
I've heard, as much as Clemson feels like the kind of the right pairing, I've heard that they're not as big. Like the Big Ten's not as big on them. Just academically, they're not really close. It might be Miami. It might be North Carolina. I would lean both of those more than I would lean Clemson at this point. Now, would anything shock me? No, because it's all kind of nuts, and Clemson will end up somewhere for sure. Maybe that'll be the SEC, but at this point, I would lean Miami or North Carolina. Academically, Miami kind of fits the private institution, side of things, so I could see them going for sure.
All right, my friend. Appreciate all you do. Love all your content. Tell everybody how they can find it.
Yeah, you can search Double Fries No Slaw everywhere. Twitter is just my name, TJ Pittenger. So check us out.
All right, partner. Appreciate it. DJ Uyangalele. Comes right off the tongue, guys. Comes right off the tongue like pineapple pizza.
It rolls, man. Yeah, it's easy.
Like yeah.
You guys.
TJU. See you, TJ. Thanks, buddy. DJ, TJ. Everybody's got initials these days. It's beautiful.
I'm telling you.
JP.
Yeah.
PH just doesn't get it. PB.
No. Yeah. PB. Yeah. PHP.
PHP. No. Just doesn't roll off the tongue like.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got a lot of comments to get to, a lot of new commenters. I see some new names up there, so we're going to get to you. We are brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. If you got some of those Visa gift cards laying around, you want to buy something shiny for your girl because you screwed up at Christmas, Gold and Diamond Source is the place to go, my friends. I always have my box right here for the beautiful ring that we got there for my lovely Ashley. Nice. Absolutely. And obviously the best local place to get anything you need. You got to want a Rolex, want to watch as a collector's item or an investment. You can do that, or just a wear on your wrist because you a baller. They got all the different brands of watches there as well. So go check it out. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. Yeah.
Oh, you got to hit that. Hey, JP, you got to hit that. You got to hit that break.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, gotcha.
Hold on.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment.
Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I think he is muted right now.
Why am I on mute? I didn't mute myself.
I have no idea. You're muted. Yeah, see it.
Thank you for jumping in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't stand dead air. So dead air is like, oh my God, it's dead air. So yeah.
So welcome back. Welcome back. We appreciate you guys joining us. We're brought to you by the great folks at Synovus Bank. They are the big bank with the local feel. My good friend John Acosta, who I've known for 40 years. God, it's hard to say that. He's been in local banking for 40 years. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah, they got a lot of people over there at Synovus Bank that have been working for local banks here in the Tampa Bay area for a long time. That's why they are the big bank with the local feel. So head on into your Synovus Bank, get a new personal account and or the business account if you want to move your business stuff over there, and you'll see what we're talking about. They will treat you like it is a neighborhood bank, but they have all the resources of a big bank. So go on in there, tell them JP sent you, and ask for John Acosta or just about any of the great folks there that will treat you like gold. It's Synovus Bank, synovus.com. Go to your local bank and tell them we sent you.
I need a loan. That's what I need to do. I need to go in there.
Go on in there. Yeah, you know what, a business loan?
Yeah.
Sports web. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, let's go.
Pay off all the equipment and get everything my bills paid and put some back and, have another bill. But damn, get all this
consolidate it. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great idea. Great idea
for the new year.
That's what local bankers are about. That's what bankers are about for small businesses. You go in there and say, "Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is where I'm trying to go." They can say, "Oh, let's try this. Let's do this. Let's do this." They know that stuff. So, you probably don't. I don't. So let the experts do what they do.
I definitely don't.
I know this bank
in college, so I know nothing about banking or budgeting or anything. It's
there
terrible.
You go.
All right, I need to do it. So, all
right, let's get to some of the comments here, my friend. OU Baker fan, welcome in, my friend. Says, is Baker playing? JC Allen seems to think he is. I think we're going to have to go through, obviously Baker wants to play, and nobody has any idea how sore he is right now except him. So we'll see if he can practice this week. I think if he doesn't practice all week long, and Kyle Trask does, I don't know. I mean, this is something that, you need to be in practice, watching every day, see how things are going. Is Kyle Trask, does he grasp the offense? Is he ready to go? And Baker can't play, or he's not practicing because he can't throw. The pain's too much, and then you're going to suddenly throw him, shoot him up and throw him out there on Sunday. No. I think that's a recipe for disaster. I think as a football team, you go out there and you say, look, we're good enough to beat this team with our second string quarterback who can make the throws. and is ready to go. And that's no knock on Baker. If you got to take a shot to get your arm above, and I'm not saying this is the case, but if it is, these sternum injuries, these rib injuries, even if they're not broken, can be severely limiting. And if you can't put touch on the ball, if you can't put velocity on the ball, and it's not like he's Patrick Mahomes, folks, like we can't play without him. I mean, it's not like he's Joe Burrow, and then you have to go to your back. Oh, wait a minute. Browning wasn't so bad, was he? These guys can play. Yeah. They're on the roster for a reason. Okay. We saw what Kyle Trask did in the preseason. He wasn't horrible, right? He's completely competent. He can make the throws. And if he's healthy and you got a guy who's not, then you put him in there and you rely on your defense. Okay. And you rely on the rest of your players to step their game up to win a game. You got to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the end of the world if Baker doesn't play. He's not. I mean, we love him, and he's a good player, and he's been really good. But come on, if he can't play, you got a guy that's completely healthy and can rip a ball, on a 25-yard stop route. Let's go. I'm ready to go. It's not the end of the world, folks.
Yeah, wind me up. I tell you right now, let's open up the phone line. 727-255-0391. Buccaneer fans, how confident are you on the JP Peterson show if, number one, Baker Mayfield doesn't start for this team and you see the greatness or that hasn't been realized yet in Kyle Trask? How confident overall are you of this Bucs team after the effort versus the Saints last Sunday? Get on the phone lines. Let's talk about it.
All right, some of the other comments out here. Greg DeCruz, what's up, buddy? From Costa Rica. When I was living in Toronto, Brian Ford arranged a private tour of the facility. He waited past 5 o'clock as my plane was delayed. I've met him many times, and he always takes time to say hello. There you go, folks. Dude is the best. Let's see here. Bucks win. Aints win against the Falcons. The Aints may make the playoffs because of other teams losing this coming weekend. 2 teams in from the NFC South. Would it be the worst division? Yes. Yes, it would. Sorry. I've seen enough bad football in this division. It's not great. As you look around the league, there's a lot of mediocrity. I'm gonna say that. Let's see what else we got here. This is 100% true. Stinney and Hainsey were terrible. Nathan Elliott.
Stinney was terrible
in past. Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people. It's all great to talk about drafting a young quarterback. For me, I think that's where you build a team between the lines, whether it's defensive line, which I'll go with Jared Verse. I mean, imagine Jared Verse, Elijah Cansey, Vita Vea, and Yaya Diaby. How do you like that defense? Or you go with the left guard, you go with the center, because that's what you need. And it depends on what you want to do, but I don't think you can go wrong. And a lot of people saying, well, Jason Light really never does that. He goes for the small school guys.
Not always.
I think you got to get an immediate impact. Well, you got Ali Marpet. You got
to replace Hainsey. Hainsey is just he's not good. A nice guy. Yeah. He's undersized. Not particularly athletic. He's just not. I mean, you look at his PFF grades and you just watch the tape. He's just not that good.
What about Nick Leverett? What happened to Nick Leverett? Why?
I don't know, man.
Getting an opportunity, if not at the center position, why not the left guard situation? Because if you're struggling, and I get it, Baker Mayfield, he didn't have a great game, but he was feeling the pressure. It seemed like the Saints. It didn't seem like it. They dominated the offensive line of the Bucs. That's the problem. You got to give a quarterback at least 3 to 5 seconds in order to throw the ball. You can't have pressure.
Baker was not good in this game. He reverted back to holding the ball and looking at the rush. And he just wasn't good. He wasn't the Baker of the last 2 games. He wasn't letting it rip. Guys were open. He wasn't letting it rip. Michael Parr says Bowles is the epitome of mediocre. Glazers have a decision to make, win or lose Sunday. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. I mean, everything you've heard, you saw when they beat Green Bay, how, the big hug, but I think that can change. And I think it could change if you lose to the Carolina Panthers. You have no business losing.
If you lose to the Panthers,
you have no business. No business.
It's Black Monday. You're done. Yeah. Yeah, there's absolutely no decision to be made there. Kathy Gillespie says, wonder how big Matthews' bonus was for that shot on Baker Mayfield. Saints up to their old tricks. Wanted to make sure that Bake's play is affected this coming week. Pisses me off. 100%, Kathy. 100%. They're a dirty team. That's documented. They've been sanctioned for it. And that's who they are. And until you bully the bully, they're going to keep bullying you, as we learned from the Scott Farkas affair. Christmas story. Sandra Nagel says, watching the best show in Tampa Bay. Who is this woman? Who is this woman?
That's
Peter?
my mother. Yeah,
I know.
that's my mother. She is.
What's up, Mama?
She's an agent, and on the side, she's the future agent, and she loves this show, loves my show, and she's always about promoting the shows. You got to love that.
Thank you. We love that.
Yes.
What does she say here? They'll be ready for Carolina. How about Michigan Wolverines going to championship title game, and they will win over the Washington Husky?
Yeah, go Bucks and go Blue. I mean, she's a Michigan fan, and
Mama, I can't be with you on the Michigan stuff. I love you, but I can't be with you. I'm Washington all the way, baby. Let's go, Michael Penix. Big Penix energy.
Has he faced a defense like Michigan, who really got after Jalen Milroe, and then on top of it, and I think this is the big time key, with all the adversity that was surrounding this program and Jim Harbaugh, doesn't that kind of motivate you? I kind of see a Tom Brady situation working out. I can see that. And I could see Jim Harbaugh winning the national championship with Michigan and going right off into the sunset into the NFL, either as the Raiders coach, I think he's the Raiders coach, or the Chargers coach. And then eventually a couple years later, they say, well, Michigan had some wrongdoing in the first place, but they don't want to reveal it now because it would be a black eye for college football.
I see him going to the NFL. I do see that, but please don't come to Tampa Bay. That's all I can say. And I may be wrong, but I don't think he's going to be successful at the NFL level. You see some of the interviews this week.
Oh, he's
weird, man. He's just weird. There was a clip on Twitter of him. It was him and Saban at a press conference.
Yeah.
And they had the big Sugar Bowl or Rose Bowl thing in the middle. And somebody asked Saban about Michigan cheating. And of course, and Harbaugh was right there. And his body language was like so weird. He was like, somebody asked a question. He was like, and if you're not watching this on TV, it's on your, I apologize to the radio audience. He's just got this weird, like he's like making these weird movements back and sticking his head up like a freaking peacock.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just weird. The dude, and then there's the pregame interview with Marty Smith could not have been like more weird.
Awkward.
He's just awkward dude. Yeah. Like he's not authentic. He's just weird. And I don't think that's going to play with dudes. I don't.
I think saying all that, he's had success everywhere he's gone. And
yes,
I think
he has
success with the NFL. And I would sit there and say, Colin Kaepernick would.
But it's going to be 10 years.
Right.
It's going to be 10 years since he's coached in the NFL when he gets back there.
Well, it doesn't always necessarily work out, but I think he's got an advantage, right? Because he is with Michigan. He does see recruits. On top of it, if he wins a national championship, he's going to command respect. Furthermore, he's played in the league as a Chicago Bear quarterback. I don't think he's going to Chicago. So I could definitely see it, and I could definitely see him taking J.J. McCarthy with him. I could see it.
By the way, the Michigan offense, and I'll say that the Michigan offense in the 4 games or post Connor Stallions averaged 281 yards a game, total offense. 281 yards a game, total offense.
Yeah.
And about, I think it was 130 passing. And people want to tell me that this is some juggernaut offense. And their defense, by the way, the two decent quarterbacks that they played, Kyle McCord and Tua at Maryland, both scored 24 points. Okay? You look at the teams that they played early in the season, the Bowling Greens, the Indianas, all those trash quarterbacks that they played and they held to 4 points. That's where they built up all their defensive numbers. When they've played real offenses, they've been average at best. Now, I thought Alabama would destroy them. Not destroy them. I thought they would beat Michigan, and they were on their way to doing so in the second half before the center forgot how to freaking snap the ball in key situations.
Right.
Alabama was starting to, and that's Alabama with a crappy quarterback in Jalen Milroe. I think Washington, if they're going to get a load of Michael Penix and those receivers. Now, if their front can get there, now Washington's line is pretty damn good. I think Washington puts up at least 35 points, and let's see if Michigan's offense can stay with them. I'm not sure. They can run the football. Run the football. Ain't no doubt about that. They're going to be able to run the football on Washington. But will they be able to keep up with Michael Penix? I don't think so.
Well, that's the reason why you have the best offensive line in college football. That's the reason why Penix has been, so successful. And I tell you right now, anybody's putting him, down in the second round, you're not watching. I don't care how old he is. I don't care how many knee surgeries he's had. The kid's got it. And he is accurate when it comes to the deep ball, JP.
Oh, my God.
54% accuracy. I mean, I know there's a lot of Bucs fans out there that would love to see it. I love to see it because he's a Tampa Bay kid. And I tell you right now, that wide receiver, Dunzier, woof.
Yeah.
People talk about Malik Neighbors. People talk about, Marvin Harrison Jr. That kid right there, somebody's going to get a steal. I mean, I think he's going to go top 10, but he may be actually better than both of those wide receivers we just mentioned. Neighbors, pretty damn good.
Really
Got a chance to see him at Raymond James here just a couple of days ago. So
Derek Stevens says, can we keep Canales if we move on from Bowles? Yes. Bowles? Did you meant that? Yes, we can. It depends on who you hire. It's not a misprint. Yeah, Aints, Falcons, Panthers, Washington, Raiders, Chargers are all going to be seeking new coaches. There will be others. Keep who you got. And Todd Bowles? We'll see. As I've said, you're going to have to take a look. It looks like if they go out and smoke Carolina and win a playoff game, and they play the way they were, then I would entertain it. But I mean, God, look what you saw on Sunday.
Yeah.
Look what you saw on Sunday.
And it's been a usual thing in those situations. You kind of feel like, again, is he too big for the moment? We've seen this team go on a 4-game winning streak and play their game. And like you said, we were talking about in the press box, they revert back to their same ways. They revert back to running on first down, 2 yards in a cloud of dust instead of coming out and throwing the ball. And I get it. Your offensive line isn't great. They didn't have a good game against the Saints. They dominated, but still, this is a throwing football team. I get it. Everybody wants them to be a running football team. No, you throw to set up the run for this team. And if they haven't learned that yet, then I don't know. I don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah. Great fan Harry Berg says the NFL stands for no freaking logic. You win, you're in. Think about that for a second. I mean, it's just, it's bizarre. I mean, the Cardinals beating the Eagles like every week. It's just crazy. It's absolutely bananas. All right. Wanted to talk a little bit about the Bolts last night. I don't know if you guys watched the game. They lose 4-2 at Winnipeg. Winnipeg's on a 9-game point streak right now. Yeah. They are probably one of the top 4 teams in the league right now. And why? Because it's defense. And isn't it interesting who their coach is? Rick Bowness, who had this Lightning team playing phenomenal defense. It's one of the reasons they won the Cups. And this Winnipeg team now is held in the last 13 to 14 games they've played to 2 goals or less, held their opponents to 2 goals or less.
Wow. 11-1, by the way, since December 1st, and I think only giving up 25 goals in that time span. So amazing in itself. And second period, they came back to haunt the Lightning once again.
Yeah, Lightning really played with good energy last night. I thought they played with terrific energy, especially in the first period. Had a lot of puck possession, but could only get 1 power play goal. They're 5-on-5. They just have not been able to score. Hellebuck was really, really good last night. And, he was – and it seems like this has been – Lightning have never really had a problem scoring goals. But right now, they're getting a lot of shots and a lot of opportunities. They're not scoring goals. They're goal scorers. They're just not – I don't know what it is. Those things should even out over time. So that's why I still have confidence that this team can come back and be a factor. But they're depleted right now defensively. They only had 5D last night. So it's going to be a tough road trip. They've got Winnipeg now. They've got Minnesota tomorrow night.
Yep.
Minnesota's playing really good hockey, and then they got to go to Boston. So you got to get, at least 2 points out of this trip. So hopefully they can get a couple in these last 2 games. But last night was a was a kind of a disappointing night once again, but not unexpected. I mean, Winnipeg is a really, really good team.
Yeah, no, agree. And Kucherov scores again last night, so you could be looking at him as 30 goals just on this road trip. And anybody doubting that Steven Stamkos is not a Hall of Famer, check these numbers out. 202 goals on a power play in the history. He ties who? Steve Yzerman.
Steve Yzerman, wow.
He's only 2 goals away from who? Wayne Gretzky. Leave no doubt, my friend. Nikita
power play goals.
Wow. Stamkos is definitely a Hall of Famer with just that stat alone. So Stamkos, once again from that spot, is just deadly.
Yeah, he is just. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. I think, and I've said this many times, I think Stamkos is a Hall of Famer. I think Hedman's a Hall of Famer. I think Bassey's a Hall of Famer. And I think Kucherov's a Hall of Famer. You're watching 4 Hall of Famers play for your Tampa Bay Lightning right now and enjoy every minute of it. And they've got some work to do. Brisebois has got to find some answers on the blue line at the deadline. I don't know how he's going to do that with no cap room, but I don't know what's going on with Stamkos. Is it the contract? I don't know. He does, he's not talking as much as he used to in the media. There's a vibe just that's not great to this team right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something underlying. And obviously I work for the Lightning, but I don't go into the locker room anymore like I used to because of my post-game duties. So I'm not around the team as much as I used to. So I'm not going to pretend like I know. I talk to a lot of people, obviously, and try to get their feel for what they think is going on. But, the general feeling is it's just that they're just a little bit off. They're a little bit off. And when they get, maybe when they get healthy or maybe, there's one addition that they need to bring in, I think they do need a kind of a crap starter. I think they need, like a Dave Andrechuk type guy to come in. People talk about Maroon and Corey Perry, how they were the guys in the locker room when the team wasn't performing or, playing with fire, they would fire them up and hold the other guys accountable. You need guys like that. And I'm not sure if they have anybody like that right now. And, the Bucks and the Lightning are kind of very similar in that way. They got a ton of great players, ton of great character players, ton of guys with championship pedigree, but they don't have any crap starters. They don't have any guys that are, that are going to walk around the locker room, the dressing room, and just kick you in the ass. Go, let's go. We're better than this. All the leaders are kind of nice guys, more, lead by example, quieter guys on both sides. The Kucherovs, the Vasilevskis, the Hedmans, the Vita Veas, the Mike Evans, the Levante Davids. None of these guys are fire starters. And maybe that's what both of these teams need. They need someone to step up because I think there may be guys in that room that can do it, but just aren't necessarily doing it. So we'll see. I mean, so much of sports is about emotion and playing with edge and playing because everybody's good, man. Everybody's talented. And you're a professional. Everybody's can skate. Everybody can hit. Everybody can run. You got a lot of great talent out there. It's like which teams find that extra gear, that extra motivation, that focus, that laser focus that gets you going in those critical times. That's the teams that win championships. Those are the teams that are better. And you don't see either one of these teams playing with that edge right now. But it's there. It's there. I know it is. So we'll see if it comes out. All right. Anything else we have not gotten to today?
We got the Brian Kelly stuff. Do you want to get that? Want to get to that? Because I put that in there in your.
We're at 12 o'clock. All due respect, I don't know if there's a lot of LSU fans out there. Not anybody. I know it's great that they all came here, but I don't know how. To our audience, not sure how critical it is.
No.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate you hanging with me in my production facilities here. We'll get that straightened out. Hope the content was great for you. Thank you guys for joining us here, whether it's on YouTube. Please make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, and on all the other platforms. Thank you guys for joining us. We will catch up with you tomorrow. Lots more great guests coming your way. We're working on getting Michael Alford, AD at Florida State. Was texting with Derek Brooks. He's going to join us here in a few days, hopefully. So we'll have some good guests coming your way. Michael Kelly, Alex Golish, working on all those for you guys. So we'll see you down the line.